Welcome to Wholesome Talk, where we bring you conversations filled with laughter, encouragement, faith, and inspiration. Hey, ladies. Well,
Hey.
hey. So I am, so we're so excited again. So excited to be here. And hey, everyone that's connected. So glad you're here. I want to welcome back Pastor Will for part two of the Wholesome Talk. Last week, if you didn't catch it, go back and watch the replay of his feedback. You know, he gave us some feedback on the importance of waiting until marriage, until for intimacy, and also provided what quality of a Proverbs 31 woman is most admirable. So I'm not going to give the answers. I could, but I'm not because I want you to go back and watch the last video. But he did say something that actually stuck with me. It doesn't really apply to me anymore, but for those that are not married, he mentioned there's power in purity, and I thought that was just a word within itself, y'all. Um, but we're gonna just go ahead and get off into it. Pastor, how you doing?
Doing good, doing good, doing good. Excited to be here for another talk.
Good,
We're excited. I'm
good.
excited because I was about to say
Yes.
I'm excited.
That's right. So we're gonna tackle a topic um for I think everybody could apply to it. It's about setting boundaries in friendships with the opposite sex.
Mm.
So Pastor, can you how can believers navigate those relationships in a way that honor God and protect their hearts as well?
Give that question one more time.
Yeah, so pretty much um how do you set healthy boundaries and friendships in with the opposite sex as a married woman or a married man, whichever way, or a single person as well?
Well, it's really to me, it's a simple answer. It really
I think I
is.
know your answer.
It's simply because, first of all, if you love God and you love your wife, or as a woman, you love your husband, being cordial to somebody else, first of all, we're loving them as our neighbor.
Mhm.
So my intentions should never be anything outside of the confines of that,
Mhm.
from showing love in a different way. Well, like, what is my purpose of being friends? How can I, like, I say this all the time, like, I always try to make sure that at some point, because when you're building a relationship with when you build a relationship with certain people, like, I don't build relationships with the opposite sex on purpose just to be having female friends. That's not, no. We're working on something. We're working on something, and at some point there has to be introduction of the spouse. And when one person has a problem meeting that person, meeting the spouse, then there's an issue.
Mm.
There's an issue that's a red flag, because you don't want to meet my wife. Why? Like,
Right.
you don't want to meet my husband. Why?
Amen.
So
Amen.
setting boundaries, again, it has everything to do with your purpose. For example, I'm in the film industry still. I work with a lot of produce. Well, one producer mainly.
Yeah.
I call her name Alicia Edwards. Phenomenal producer. Was working with her since 20. I think I met her in 2014, and we've been cool ever since. And some of the
Yeah.
work that I've gotten because of her bringing my name up,
Mhm.
working with lot like names, but again, that came from uh, uh, a strictly friendly relationship on mutual with mutual I would say mutual occupation or mutual understanding, right?
Yes.
And then even meeting you, even coming out and meeting, my uncle, my aunt, she came out. So her motives are clear. People's
Yeah.
motives are clear. It's not awkward. It don't feel like you're not saying something. You ever meet somebody feel like they not saying something? It's like,
Yes.
okay, why you acting weird?
Yeah.
Right.
So again, that's why I feel like it's really simple. It's first, okay, what do we have in common? Why am I talking to you? Why, other than outside of, like, if it's not ministry related or if it's not encouragement related, like what is my point? What is the goal?
Right. I said that. That I actually had the talk initially, and that was one of my questions. Like, what's the purpose of our friendship?
Mm,
If Why are we being friends if there's no purpose?
right.
Have you ever
Right.
had anybody like reach out to you and be like, "Oh, hey, can I be your friend? Can we be friends?" And it's like, why?
It's it's
I
it's
f-
it's weird. I think it's spam. I don't know if anybody's been getting those text messages from like
can
random
we be
people,
friends?
and they send you a picture. It's so weird. It's like
Yes.
they meant to text somebody else, and then they
Yes.
turn
Yep.
around and talk to you and still and
Right.
like, oh, can we be friends though?
Yeah.
And
Um
they're like, overseas, I got
yeah.
one.
And
What
Yeah.
I'm
is
like,
that?
no.
What is
And then
that?
and then
Yes.
some of them say they live here, and I just to see what they were gonna say, I just indulged in it. I was like, okay, all right, yeah, sure, let's be friends.
To just see where they're
And then
going.
and then I think this person
Mhm.
lived in Miami, and I was just like, this is really weird. I was like, who do you work for? I was just asking a bunch of crazy
Yeah.
questions and then giving them
Yeah.
false information on me, and
That's so weird. I got
and it
one
was like,
too.
wow, well, I see that they just kept trying to talk, and I was just like,
It's
you know what?
weird.
Yeah, this is weird. It was so weird. So, but I think I have had people reach out and say, hey, can we be friends? I'm like, no, because first of all, you don't make friends like that. That is not how you make a friend.
Yeah.
Right.
You do not make friends by asking, can we be friends? No, we can't be friends. Like, you make friends by having it just starts out as a regular conversation.
Mhm.
Again,
Right.
something that is
Right.
mutual in common. We work on a job.
Right.
We don't just become
Yeah.
friends by saying, hey, I'm gonna start hanging with you. Hey, I'm gonna start.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody
Right.
does that. No, you go to your work area and you just work, and then y'all may talk
Right.
like in passing about work, and
Mhm.
then you might talk about things outside of work. Now, what you talk about outside of work has a
Yeah.
lot to do with, you know, ulterior motives at
Right.
that point. But for the most part, most people make work friends. Work friends. I would say like associates. That's why
Right.
I call
Yeah.
those people associates. Is because just because we're associates don't mean we may have always have conversations about work, but it may be
Mhm.
about sports, it may be
Right.
about faith, it may be about different things. But how we decide to link up after it's gone, like that is what really matters and what you gotta pay attention to.
That's true.
Yeah. I also say people who use friend too loosely, they're like, that's my friend. Like, y'all just met.
Mhm.
Like,
I
Right.
got I got cousins who called everybody friend, and I told my children, Jamor,
Mhm.
Willie, Zion, and Peyton. I said, everybody ain't your friend. Stop calling them your friend. Just say your classmate, because
exactly.
that's
Right.
exactly what they are. They're classmates. If you
Right.
by the end of the year, you might be able to say friend.
Yeah.
But what are they doing? Are they taking up for you when people try to pick on you?
Mhm.
Are they telling on people for you? Are they helping you out? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What are they doing? Because that's what a friend is. That's what a friend does. A friend comes in through in the clutch. When it seems like you don't have nobody else, they helping you. Even when you're in kindergarten, when you got a friend. Somebody really cares for you. Somebody's like,
Yeah.
"Are you okay? Are you all right, Miss Keller?" That was the name of
That's
my
killer.
kindergarten teacher. Her name was Miss Keller. Miss Keller, Willie's sad. Like that's a friend.
Right.
Like that's a friend
Yeah.
early on. So that's why I was a little bummed that I didn't get to stay at the same schools.
Oh.
Because I didn't get to really make friends like that because I skipped school a lot. Not skip school, but
You went to
Right.
I
different schools. Yeah.
transferred schools a lot. So
What about say you make make a friend at a job, right? You no longer work there.
Mm.
So now you don't have a common interest. What's your take on that?
Um,
Different
because
lady.
And they're like, "Oh, okay, come
Probably
on,
wasn't your
let's hang
friend.
out. You know,
well,
let's
that's
do
different
this.
versus because there's this guy at my job who I ended up working with. But the thing is, see, here's the thing with that. Here's the thing about being intentional about every relationship
Mm-hmm.
is that he knows that I'm a pastor, and I've always talked against sin in a way that made it seem as if I'm just talking about morally. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I think he was saying how he he had a child on the way. He wasn't married. He's like in his 20s.
Oh.
And even another young lady that was in our work area as well. I talked to both of them, right? Like I will always try to include both of them in the conversation, like because we
Yeah.
were on like two different sides on the carousel and the bag room, and we were always talk. I was always like trying to encourage him to want something out of life other than like, man, come on, man, you can't work here unless you want to work here and move up. Then but if you comfortable being here, you got something else going on, or if you just want to
Yes.
be a regular person and just want to be here and work, then cool too. But he wanted more, so I was always talking about things that led to more. Sometimes we would talk about sports stuff that really don't
Yeah.
matter, but yeah, because I was that kind of person, and to kind of being intentional with my conversation with him,
Yeah.
it made him like call and check on me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? It's not like and what you doing now, but I've established such a relationship to where I could just say, hey man, I'm having, and I never like forced anybody, like, because at the time we were meeting on Sundays,
Mm-hmm.
and I never said, hey man, you should come out 6 a.m., 6 p.m. You ain't doing that, man. Come on out. I never said that,
Yeah.
because it's about, and I didn't really realize that later on I would be preaching and teaching that church, like true church and
That's
ministry, is
awesome.
really done during the week. I
Mm.
didn't really realize how much actual ministry I was doing with the conversations I was having,
Yeah.
with not just him, just different people, because you establish like a regular, because sometimes, and my uncle would talk about this in evangelism class that he would teach a long time ago. He would say, like, you got to set the stage.
Yeah.
He that wins souls is wise. I'm not gonna come out, Kim, and just bust out with, do you know Jesus? Nah, you a freak. Nah, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I don't want to know Jesus. Like, get away from me.
Yeah.
Ill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not smart.
Yeah.
It's especially when it's not.
Yeah.
It's different. However, the Spirit leads you, because He'll always give you what to say, right? If you meet one person
Right.
for the first time, but I'm talking about these people that we see every day at work. We
Yeah.
don't consider them family. We don't really have longer conversations with them, but they see our lifestyle. So that's number one.
Right.
Set the stage is like just building a regular conversation, right? Just a regular conversation, and then sooner or later, it might be like 6 months later, we might end up talking about God.
Right. Yeah.
And
I've
because
seen
of
that.
everything that I said and how I conduct myself, that's
That
why
seed was
Paul talks
planted.
about
You
how you
planted
conduct
that seed.
yourselves in front of outsiders,
Yeah.
right? Have integrity with outsiders. Just because somebody's a sinner or they in the world don't mean you can't, you know what I mean? Like, you have to be real from the inside out, and have to have the fruits of the Spirit on display at all times, so that when that time comes around, you can they'll believe you
Right.
when you talk about
Right.
God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I believe you.
Right.
Kim, Tiffany, I believe you. I believe you. So anything you got to say about God, that's why people come to you. People come to you now and say, well, what do you think about this? Well, what do you think about it?
Yeah.
Because they believe,
Mhm.
in the Lord that lives in you. They believe that
Yeah.
you are a person that's pretty solid when it comes to the faith.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yep.
It's how you
that
carry
was a long
yourself, right? You
answer,
can't
but that
say
that
I'm
was
about God and then you're at work just cussing up a storm
right,
or
right.
people
Yeah.
right? So yeah, yeah,
They definitely have to see the change at least if they known,
Yeah,
yeah.
for
So
sure.
Sister Sarita on YouTube said she's tried having friends with the opposite sex, but they always pretended to be friends but wanted more. And obviously she's not having that, so she just decided to not be friends with them anymore.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
you once you know, because again, that's partly discernment and then partly it's somebody just being outright obvious with it because they want to try to talk you down or make it seem as if they're being sincere.
Right.
Just
Right.
enough to get you out your underpants.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yes.
that's just the like that
They see you
is
talking about God and they're like, I know I talk about God. I like God. And
yeah.
then later, like, but it's like for me, with me having kids, they like, I know you. And I'm like, no, I don't do that no
So what you do
Right.
is do what the preacher said. He said it was a lady. It was a lady. It was this story was from a preacher to another preacher, and he said he was on the plane. I think I told y'all this before. He was on the plane and there was a lady in first class sitting in first class next to him. He was on his way to another city to preach, and she was like he said she was really pretty and she was like just really like flirting coming on to him. And she was like, "Well, I'm staying over here," and then he just basically she's just asking questions. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm staying at the Hyatt or the
Yeah.
Marriott or whatever." And she's like, "Oh really? Well, I'm there. Well, maybe we can." And it was so flirty to where he was just like, "Oh nah, like I know what this is."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
more.
he hollers Jesus like so loud, and she was like, "What's wrong with you?" And then the moral of the story is, it was so
Right.
powerful. He said, "You gotta embarrass sin before sin embarrasses you."
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
Amen.
so
Yeah.
I was like, that just kind of goes to what I was getting ready to say to Sister Rita on YouTube is that sometimes you just gotta, hey, just like Jesus, 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 Jesus. They could be like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, he is weird. Maybe I am,
Right.
but you're gonna leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just rock real hard. Like,
Just
Jesus, Jesus
Yeah,
is
they'll
a
definitely walk
friend
away
of
then.
mine.
They'll be like, I don't know what's wrong with her.
They definitely gonna leave her alone with that one.
Yeah,
I ain't
right.
yeah. They can be like, oh nah, you know what? You know what? Forget I even said anything.
Mm-hmm.
forget it. She's
That's how
not
you
so
do it.
attractive
Like for real.
anymore.
Like and some people were like, no, I don't want to mess up your reputation.
Yeah.
You worried about your reputation over being subject to sin? Like,
Mm-hmm.
cause it's always clear,
Right.
when you see people's motives, it's like run, cause
Yeah.
you've seen this before, especially when you've seen it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how this lead. I know how this goes. It always starts
Right.
It's
here,
the same
and then
lineup.
it ends up there.
Mm-hmm.
How long you gonna keep doing the same thing?
Yeah.
Then you keep finding yourself in a worse situation or feeling even more bad because you
Mm-hmm.
keep that's the reason why guilt hits so hard. Guilt hits so hard because you already like you did this before.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
That's why it's like a gut punch. And it's all and the devil loves to play with that. The
Right.
devil loves to
Yes.
make you feel guilty even more. Even after you ask for
Mm-hmm.
forgiveness. Like he likes to try to attempt it. So you have to, have that willpower to say, nah,
Yeah.
I'm forgiven. I gotta go through what I'm going through, but I'm forgiven. So even
Right.
if it ended in death, I'm good. Cause I'm forgiven. And I ain't, there's no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus. After you have confessed, you're
Mm-hmm.
you're good to go.
That's a good
Yeah.
answer. So
So
pretty
for me
much
with work friends,
transparency is key.
What did Kim say?
yeah. Um, me with work friends, I tend not to talk to them after work because I don't want to hang out. Don't I want to hang out? We don't share anything in common.
Yeah.
I don't need you calling me what you're doing.
We're
Yeah.
not going to no bar.
And not even because I work with a lot of older people, and even the ones that like are a little bit younger than me, we live totally completely different lives. Even though they say they're Christians, but we live totally different lives.
Right.
I don't have time after work to be, oh, let's go to the restaurant lounge. Well, I'm like, my restaurant lounge is in my house. I got like stuff to take care of. I don't have time to
Right.
be doing this. Like, I have stuff to do. And so I was talking to this lady yesterday, and she was like, oh, what are you doing tomorrow? I said, well, I'm home tomorrow. I have, like this talk that we do with some of the women in the church. And she looked and she's like, oh, she was like surprised, like, like, oh, you're doing this. And I said, no, we're in church Monday through Friday, praise and worship. Saturday we do this, Sunday. And
Yeah.
she's like, oh my God, you're in church 7 days a week. I'm like, yes. This is how you stay grounded. This is how you stay when things come up and you need to fight the battle.
Yeah.
This is how you fight it, because you're in his word and you have your community that you're around. And she was like, oh, I didn't think about it like that. So I asked her, I said, how often do you go to church? And she was like, oh, I'm there like on a Friday and Sunday. I was like, oh, that's it?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, that's it. I said, well, okay. But people don't get it. People don't get like, you need to constant. And I said, this is why I love my church so much and our pastor, because before finding this church, I didn't think about it to be in church Monday and worshiping and praising God Monday through Sunday, like every minute of the day, just even just thanking him.
Yeah.
And she was like, I didn't even think of it like that. And I was like, oh, got one.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people that just think that Sunday and Wednesday
Yeah.
Wednesdays and Bible study.
is all you need. And you
That's
really
it.
need more than that. And what it does is what I found through the Monday through Friday, how it helps a lot of people is that it helps them keep their mind stayed on him. You start the morning off in prayer and a word. The words just started happening because there was a time where I would just read a scripture, kind of talk about it just a little bit, and then go into prayer. These days it's kind of like it's a balance, but it's been more so word every morning, and a revelation. And it helps, it helps so much, and you're able to see the word come to life. Like you're able to see it. So, it becomes easier. This is why I say it becomes easier to resist the devil, because you understand that you got power over him. So we talking about boundaries.
Right.
Like the devil has a boundary. He knows there's a line he can't cross unless you unless you erase the line.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like you can't, like, it's almost like having one of those it's like a dog collar that has like a frequency that the dog hears and it stops him from coming.
Yeah.
But it's the opposite. This is a frequency. This stops the dog from coming in. This stops the devil from coming in. And what is that frequency? The word of God. The thing that stops him, the thing that he's allergic to, is the word of God, because it is a sword. And when we use it, we are defending ourselves, and we have faith. So regardless of what he does, regardless of the fiery darts, we have faith, which is metaphorically our shield that, that is the length of our entire body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when you watch, that's why I love that movie Brave 300. Watch the Brave 300. That's a 2007 film with starring Gerard Butler.
Brave 300.
Brave 300. It's a total dude flick. It's a dude flick.
That's my movie.
It's totally action. You seen it?
I'm gonna have to type it out.
Yeah, so it's literally, and the movie's all shot over blue screen, green screen in the studio, but it's about 300 men who take on different armies, like 10,000, like an army of 10,000. It's just 300, but the way that they fight is what I want you to pay attention to. I'm gonna show a clip. I'm gonna show a clip one day in the morning. But it's a powerful clip because it shows how the darts come, like they shoot their arrows, like their first line of attack is the enemy shoots their arrows, and the Brave 300 come together and they shield, and each person is holding the shield up, and all of the arrows just go into the shield, and when they're done,
Yeah.
they get up and then they break off the arrows, and then they can fight with the sword.
Yeah.
So that's the
Mm.
same way that we have we have our boundaries, and those boundaries are convictions.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
boundaries are
Yes.
convictions. When you have a conviction and it's built off the word, we say, okay, there's this I'm not gonna do, and I have convictions built off previous experience.
Right.
Like, yep, not doing that. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
not gonna say that. Yep, not going over there. Yep, not
Yeah.
smoking that.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
Not drinking that. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Or you
did say
mention
Brave
church to
300?
people, and then
No, it's called
they
300.
they don't attend
Oh.
church, but they make sure that they harass you to go to a party or an
Yeah.
event. Like,
Yep.
you're not the same type of friend. Like,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because think about it. When you're not in church, right? Because we're actually not in a church building. What are you doing Monday through Friday? Are you going to like women's conferences? Are you like,
right,
joining certain things? So it's like, how are you arming yourself? How are you doing church, but not, because we're not in the church building, but
right,
technically we're doing it,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So yeah, when I get invites after work, I'm like, no, sorry,
yeah.
I'll be in
I
church.
send you the link and you can't watch it at least once. No, I don't like that
Right.
because it's
Right.
online,
And
and I
here's
know
the
you
thing,
got the phone in your
yeah,
hand because
right.
you're texting me.
Right.
So how about you click that link? Like, no, okay, we're not
Right.
friends. We're not on the same page. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have the same
Yeah.
goals. You
Right.
can
And then
tell.
can
You
I
can
call you?
definitely
Can I call you if I'm going through something and say, can you pray with me? Can we pray
tell.
together?
Right. Right.
Mm.
No, no,
Now you can
no,
come over and pray.
Right. That's
no.
crazy. It's like you gotta come over.
Right.
But you know what? That's one thing I can say that I had to learn. Like when we got married,
Yeah.
um, I liked going out, hanging out, being social with friends,
Yeah.
work friends, and I enjoyed it. But then, at some point you have to think about your home life, your spouse, how long are you staying out?
When you coming back?
Right. What's for dinner, things like that. And
Right. You
it
bringing me food?
becomes,
Yeah.
yeah, it becomes too much. And um,
Yeah.
honoring your marriage is top priority. It should be top
Yeah.
priority.
Yeah.
And if you never had that discussion with your spouse, then you need to be taking your tail home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And making
Right.
sure that when you have the discussion that you and your spouse are in a place where you can listen, understand, and make the right choices, because don't make the choices based off your jealousy. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
because
Right. Right.
you
Right. Because
thinking or you're
where's it coming
insecure, then
from?
you shouldn't be making any choices because you're not
Right.
even
Exactly.
secure in yourself.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely had to learn that, and it's so funny though when I think back on it, like when I did go out
Mm-hmm.
with different places and stuff, I always talked about my family, my husband. At work, that's all they knew you by was your husband. They didn't know your name. They just knew. Cause
You
I
gotta
was
be
like,
in your
yeah, my
head talking
husband
about
this,
don't
my
bring it
husband
up, don't
that.
bring it up, don't bring it up.
Yeah, and it wasn't
Like, this is
intentional.
my
It was just like
kids.
it was unintentional because that's all I actually really this year I just started referring to him as his name, like
Yeah.
Willie. I always said
Mhm.
babe, husband,
She have never called me by my
literally.
name. Never. Never.
So
I've never heard it once. Tiffany, I'm
that's
not lying to
true.
you. Listen,
Wow.
she has never
Yeah.
called me by my name. It's always been babe.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Always.
I'm like,
That's cute.
I don't know. It's just like I didn't know whether if I should be offended or
No, that's
find
nice.
that cool. Like I'm
Yeah.
like
It's nice.
it's
Because
almost
when
like
you're
I
trying
want
to
my kids
post
to be
about
like,
the
Will,
thing,
Right.
thank you. Somebody knows who I am. Somebody knows me. But no, my kids is daddy,
You go
daddy,
to
daddy, 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 daddy,
Yeah.
daddy, 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 daddy.
work event, and they're like, your
Awful.
husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, it's and then because I think my daughters at one point, like they were very young, they called me babe.
Oh
like
yeah, I
like
remember
once or
that. Oh
twice.
man. Yeah, they
I think
did.
it was Zion, and even
Mm-hmm.
Peyton, babe.
Yep.
So
yeah.
that was it. That was like then I had to know because it made me feel awkward, and I'm like, no, No, it's
Daddy.
daddy. It's
Yeah.
daddy. I mean, they got it. It was only like for a brief season, very, very short time, but it was, yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
hilarious.
what they thought. They thought Dad's name was Babe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they thought it was
But then they
bad.
learned that, and then when they learn that, then it takes them back. See, that's why it's
Mm-hmm.
important for children to see parents together. That's the
Mm-hmm.
reason why the
Yeah.
image of husband and wife is so powerful, because it shows
Yes.
them the picture of the father, the heavenly father, right? It's all set up the same way. And I think it could be the same even for those of you that are single and are not married. They need to be able to see your marriage with the Lord. They need
Yeah.
to be able to see your
Oh, that's
your
good.
commitment to the word, right?
Yes.
Because we're all
Yes.
married to the gospel, should be, and that's why Paul says that it's easier for the single person to serve,
Mm-hmm.
because you ain't got to care for the things of the world so that you may please your husband. You have to care of the things of the world so that you may please your wife. You single, bless God.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you meet somebody, you gonna be able to know if they for you or not,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
you're so wrapped up in the serving God. Not that you are oblivious to any person of interest, but it's
Mm-hmm.
that you're oblivious to the dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
you can see it a mile away. Why? Because you didn't spend
Right.
so much time with the Lord. Yeah, this dude playing. Yeah, this dude
Right.
just he want one thing.
No,
That
Yeah.
yeah.
thing,
That.
that thing, that thing. That's what he
It's
after,
literally so clear now. Before I
Yeah.
used to feel like I was naive,
Yeah.
but now it's just so clear. It's like a light bulb. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
light bulb, it just pops up. It's like there it is. I
It's
don't want to
it
talk to
and
you.
it always comes like it will always come out, because even if you do decide to share I believe single women should. I'm gonna say this. Can I give y'all this hint for all the single ladies. That's
I
not a
knew
Let us
something
Beyonce
to say that
reference.
fast.
let them hear.
Um,
Yeah.
I feel like you need a Google number.
Oh yeah.
You need to get a Google number.
Mm-hmm.
Or why? Well, because if there's somebody that appears to be um like, somebody who is decent, you know, keep talking, and then the next level is not me you calling me your girl. The next level is you
Right.
getting my real number.
Right.
That's good.
Exactly.
You the next level is you getting my real number, right? Because you done
Get
passed with
promoted.
the Google, like, how about we not text? How about we just talk on the phone? How about we just, be friends? This is why I said this
Yeah.
before. Remember, I said, like, as a believer, I don't think you should be with somebody. I don't think you should date somebody first. You should be friends first.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, you should
Yeah.
Right.
definitely be friends first.
Absolutely.
I said this a while back.
Right.
I can't.
Yeah.
Y'all probably remember when I said it, but
Yeah. Because people are more comfortable in that friend zone than they
yes.
Yeah.
are.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you're like, for example, if you just ran out the house and you ain't put no deodorant on,
Right.
like, I need to smell the real you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
You see what I'm
exactly.
saying? No, and I mean, like, of course not. We don't want nobody to smell bad, but I'm just saying,
Right.
like, because people always put on a face
Yeah.
when you put a label on something, people pretend to be that. We say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm
Yeah.
dating this guy."
Yeah.
Dating is a translation of the word dating is data. So when you are
Mm.
dating somebody, you're collecting data.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you're collecting data, people always make fake files
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
because they know
Yeah.
you won't go
Yes.
deep enough
Mm-hmm.
Right.
until you go to the next status. When you go to the next status, that's why people
Yes.
always get their heart broken first year of marriage. You found out, oh, he was a perv.
Right.
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 Oh, you found out he was
Right. Right.
pedo.
Yeah.
Oh, you found
Right.
out he really liked young people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just the cover up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, that's why discernment is important. That's why boundaries. That's why I said, see, talking about boundaries.
Yeah.
I'm really good at going back to the topic, huh? Um, cause when you got a Google number, That's a boundary.
Yeah.
You got a
I was
Google
gonna
number?
say now,
Yeah.
Pastor, they just be like, you can get my Instagram. You can't get my number. You can get my Instagram, but that's too far because then they never stay out your DM.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, like even with the Instagram, it's like, okay, why you on my Instagram? Like, because your Instagram just shows me a fake version of you.
Mm.
Your Instagram say everything that you want me to see.
Right.
Your Instagram
Right. That's not the
ain't
real you.
yeah,
Exactly.
no, like you got nice pictures. That's why I give you the Instagram so they can thirst trap you.
Right.
Yep.
You can come across a picture that you really like, and you like, oh, I really got to talk to him now.
They start
Y'all
posting their
really
muscle
DMing. You
pictures.
really DMing, but why? Because it's based off the flesh and not the spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
It's
This person's
because it's like
Instagram did not look like him. I was like, that ain't you. Like, I was like, whoa, on Instagram, he looked good. But I seen him at the store, and I was like, that's not you. I was so,
That is
I was
not
like,
you.
That's
wow.
crazy work. That's crazy.
Even men catfish. So
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I hope
Dudes
people
definitely
stop
do.
going to
Dudes definitely do
socials
catfish.
and thinking that they're getting the real person. Like, I
No,
hope
remember,
Yeah.
it's their representative, right? So you got
Right.
like representative for like a good 6 months to a year, and then you start to see that crazy stuff. You're like, oh, I didn't notice that before.
But
And then
see,
by then you're already too deep. You're deep in.
yeah.
Mhm.
And you know what's crazy is the longer you go, the more you see.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
People usually
Yes.
break up
Paying
before they
attention.
see the
Yeah.
real person. And the reason why
Oh
they
my
break up
gosh.
is because there are some insufficiencies and insecurities that
Yeah.
tend to jump out. And when people fake it
Yes.
good enough and long enough, they get married.
Mm.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it
I
don't
was
Yeah.
last
seeing
long.
someone on the weekend, so I
Yeah.
thought this person was so charming. I thought he was so nice. I thought he was so romantic because we only see each other on the weekends.
Yeah.
When we started to see each other Monday through Friday, I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
I'm doomed.
Yeah.
I doomed myself. Like, of course, it was a nice person on the weekend. It was only a
Right.
day.
Right.
Yeah.
They had enough
Yeah.
time to prepare.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. they got all that badness away during the week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then
The
they save
representative
it up
showed
for the
up on
weekend.
Saturday.
But see, that's the same thing
Yeah.
church folk do on Sundays.
Yeah. That's true.
You mask up
Yes.
on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You mask
Mhm.
up on Friday. And then you start
Yep.
putting on your
Yeah.
costume on Saturday.
Yep.
And then Sunday is a
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunday is a performance.
Exactly.
Then when you leave church, you coming down, you taking off the makeup, you taking off everything. I'm talking about male and female.
Yeah.
I'm talking about false,
Right.
fake Christians, fake believers,
Mm-hmm.
the ones who,
Mhm.
even the preachers, even the pastors, they start taking off
They
all
only
that
play
stuff.
Christian music on Sundays.
Yeah,
Like, what?
and you all churched out. You all churched out Sunday morning. Monday morning, come back around. What you got? What's in there? Cardi B. I need that. Ooh, that's my pick me up. Ooh.
Right.
You got Meg Thee Stallion. You know,
Yeah.
you got
right.
you listen to all this perverted music, like
Yeah.
just on the weekday. But you judging. Now you judging yourself because you feel judged.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Nobody
Hey,
says
listen,
that if
most
you
people
didn't feel
think it's
judged on
fun.
your own. Because
Definitely
I'm
did.
just saying,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, it
Exactly.
ain't glorifying
Like-
God. So what are you glorifying? The flesh is obvious.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So really, so just to sum up that question, um, transparency and respect, boundaries,
mhm,
and yeah, that was pretty much it, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So I think that just
And
keep those
exit when
things
you
in
see it's
mind.
not the same.
Yes. Yeah. So just keep those in mind as far as when you're befriending the opposite sex, or if someone wants to be your friend. I'm gonna just put friend in quotes because it's like Tiffany said, it's just that
Yeah.
word is used so loosely these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So finally, so Pastor, you grew up in a 2-parent household.
Mhm.
For the most part, I did as well for a
Nope.
couple of years.
Only 9 years of my life.
Yeah, so same for me. Same for me. So
And that's crazy. I was
but both of your
dysfunctional.
parents were in church.
Yeah.
My parents were not.
Uh-huh.
How do you address spiritual leadership in the home when the man is traditionally seen, as the head of household or the spiritual leader, but How do you address that when he's absent or not really in church or disengaged from church rather?
That's a good question. When the husband is not in church
Yes. Or even just not in the home at all.
or not in the
Either
home,
way, yeah.
well, it kind of goes back, I think, to my very first answer. Um, it's really, and this may not be an answer good enough for everybody, but
Okay.
you serve as much as you can. You you lean on the Lord as much as possible. You're already supposed to do that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and nourish the relationships of the men of God in your life, for even for the children, right? Um, especially when somebody's not present, especially when a man is not present, because that's a very important
Yeah.
aspect.
Mm-hmm.
It is, but at the same time, again, that's why it's. I like this because it could go deep. It could go really really deep, but just to simplify it, one would have to, and speaking on just really probably mothers more than anything,
Right.
if the man is not present. And then I want to speak to the man being present that is not there spiritually.
Yeah.
Um, because the values of a righteous man or righteous woman, when I say righteous man, I mean male or female, the values of a righteous person should always override anything else, right? Because culture of this country and culture of different groups of people have taken the man out,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Yeah.
always been spiritual. Um, it's always been mental by way of spiritual, if that makes sense. So it's always been something going on spiritually that has played with their mental,
Yeah.
and they've allowed it. Because at the end of the day, we're all um, allowing things in our life. Just as believers or non-believers, we all have an allowance that we give different things in our lives.
It's true.
So when we talk about um, a man not being in the home to lead spiritually or be the head, who else is to be the head then? The Lord.
Lord.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord is the
Oh
head.
yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why I say it goes back to because if there's a woman, if the woman is not married, a man is not her covering.
Right.
It is the
It's the
Lord.
Lord. Amen.
So even so in your
Right.
in your singleness, that is the time to truly trust in the Lord, even when raising children by yourself. It
Yeah.
is not you trying to pretend to be a man. I don't care how many people say that. Like, I don't care how many,
I'm the mama
that
and the daddy.
toxic femininity that says, "Oh,
Yeah.
I was the father and the mother." No, you were
Yeah.
just a mother. You were just a mother.
That
Let's
part.
be clear. You were just a mother who did a
Yeah.
Yes.
really good job, right? Because
Right.
good mothers know how to allow their sons to be sons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good mothers know how to allow their sons to be around the right men,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's why I say it's to nourish those relationships of righteous men that put somebody in contact with a good man. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and again, that goes back to, why are we friends? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why
Yeah.
are we
Yeah.
friends? Okay, if I see you are good, like you're a good guy, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and what if he's married? You're a good guy and you're married. Well, let me meet your wife. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you got a son too? Okay, well, like they should like really link up. And I think that, again, people of God who are genuine with each other, they don't have a problem with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
you don't have a problem. Like, just say if we were all in Menifee, California. If we
Yay.
like lived in Menifee, California,
Yeah.
Tiffany's not far away. Tiffany has a 16-year-old son. We have a
Yeah.
16-year-old son. You know Tiffany. I'm
Right.
Tiffany's pastor.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So
Mhm.
like that right there within itself, like, well, Pastor Will's coming to pick you up to go with you and Jamor are going to such and so and so.
Right.
You
Yeah.
see what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Yeah.
that,
Yes.
that is um that is everything. You know what I mean? That is, oh my goodness.
Ooh,
That is everything.
Yeah.
So you have to be willing to um you got to be willing to have those. I'm sorry, I'm so distracted right now. You have to be willing to have those those relationships
Yeah.
and not be afraid of them, you know, because that's
yeah.
the reason why we're all here, you know. That's why we're all here.
Right.
And so again, for again, a single woman not having a man in the house for your children, again, the Lord is your head. The Lord is
Yeah.
your head.
Yeah.
That's a call for you to, again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Paul says to the husband that the husband cares for the things of the world. It didn't say that the husband loves the world.
Right.
It said that
Right.
he cares of the things of the world so that he may please his wife, so he may be able to provide, right?
Right.
Same as with the woman for her husband. So and the two are one flesh, and you one by yourself, but you have the Lord, you know. So it's still, you still not supposed to lack, even though the man may not be there. Even this applies even spiritually,
Mhm.
because how is he really covering you
Amen.
if you don't believe?
Yeah.
You know. So he has a job and a responsibility as a married man. There still is a part of which is why, like, when you are married, you are both already equally yoked by not being believers when you first get together,
Mhm.
versus later on somebody get a life to Christ and the other person didn't. You
Mhm.
can still stay. You can still stay in that. There's no crime. You know, that's it's on you. It's up to them. It's up to them. Whether I want to be with a Jesus believer or not, you're gonna keep on doing this. You're gonna keep on serving the Lord, but you ain't serving
Yeah.
me. Yeah, now you talking a little crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Talking a little
That's
crazy.
Right.
true.
But
Yeah.
again, if they're not there spiritually and they're still providing, I mean, they're, you know, we want, and it is our prayer that men call on the name of the Lord, because that is a very important thing. We
Yes.
still need men praying. Like, that is, we understand we got praying
Yes.
church mothers, but that's cool. But why is it the church mothers known for praying?
Right.
Right.
That's true.
Why is
Why
it
is that?
full of
Why are they
women
known for praying?
in
Mhm.
our
Well,
country,
because,
anyways?
yeah, because
Yeah.
it's always the man being dumb enough to fall into various sins and
Mhm.
temptations,
Yeah.
right? And we see that all throughout the Bible. We see where the Lord did use a woman to do things, because where was the man? You know,
Right.
Right. Amen.
Mordecai was used by God to put Esther into position. Esther
I didn't
couldn't
think
do
about
what she
that. Yeah.
did. She saved Israel. She saved the
Mhm.
children of Israel from death. They were getting ready to kill all the Jews. They were getting ready to. But King Xerxes had his eye. You know, his wife didn't come when he called
Yeah.
her, and she upset him. And really, it wasn't just that. Everybody talked. His advisors talked him into putting her away. So he put her away, and then he was looking for the next woman, his next queen, and
Mhm.
they all had to go through this rigorous process of testing out perfumes and
Yeah.
oils. Y'all go read the
Mhm.
book of Esther. It's
Yeah.
really interesting. It's crazy. Like, they go through all this stuff, and they have to, like, it's kind of like going through. It's like Miss America pageant. You know how you train
Yeah.
for it? They were literally like training to be the next queen. But Esther skipped the line. Why?
She was
Because
already beloved.
Mordecai told her exactly what to do, how to do it. He put her in position. Mordecai is actually her cousin. A lot of people say that was her uncle. No, he took her when her parents, I think her parents died, and he took her in and he raised her. He was an older cousin. And yeah, he put her in position to be selected by King Xerxes.
Mhm.
And who was her who was there to guide her? Yeah, it was a righteous man. It was Mordecai, right? Mordecai. It's a really good book. Y'all gotta go
So
go read
read
the
the
book
book
of
of
Esther.
Esther.
But boundaries. and this speaks to boundaries. It all speaks to boundaries because what is my limit? What am I willing to not let my husband do or say to me?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mhm.
going to cause me to change, not in a way that's favorable to him. Like what is my boundary? Like do
Mm.
I have a boundary? Like where do I stop? Okay, well, if you don't do XYZ, like this is the
Like
limit,
expectations. Yeah.
right? Like
Right.
this is the
Yeah.
limit. I'm not gonna take this from you.
Yeah.
All right. So either get it together. If you ain't gonna get Jesus, fine. All right. I love you, but I don't love you enough to go to hell.
Mm.
Right.
You
Right.
know? So
Right.
so somebody's not there. But again, a man is all his whole thing to the ultimate dirty thing for a man to do is to not take care of his family.
Mm.
That's like you're worse than an infidel. That's what scripture tells us, right? So the man that is there but not there spiritually, there's hope. There's hope, um, because it's still important that again, sons see their father, their father in the house,
Yeah.
and if they
Yeah.
don't get the righteousness from the father, at least can they see the righteousness in the mother,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
so that when they're
Ooh.
out, when they get out, they're like, okay, my mom, like that's why they can always say something about the mom, because
Yeah.
it's usually the mothers who literally just like show you who they are. If they gonna be
Mm-hmm.
right, they're
Yeah.
gonna be right. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're gonna be as right as they can be. When I say right, I mean righteous. But
Right.
then the father, if he ain't gonna do it, he ain't gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like he just and they remember, they mimic what they've seen the most.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
mimic what they see the most. And I know I have. I've mimicked what I've seen the most, right? So I can say like
Yeah.
my dad has never been like an abusive husband. He's never been that. I've never put my hands on my wife, no matter how upset I've gotten, no matter what. I've always been able to control myself.
Yeah.
And leave the room. I need you to leave the room. Go outside. Go play basketball. Go do something. You know what I mean?
Go breathe it out.
Yeah,
Right.
it's there's so many, because why? Because even in your anger, it says sin not.
Yeah.
Right.
So I have boundaries because
Exactly.
again, those convictions. And if I ever cross
Right.
the boundary, I have to go. That's when conviction again comes back to do what? Correct.
Yes.
Comes back to correct.
So,
So
Pastor, as a single woman, I've been told by my child's father, like I wasn't respectful to him, but
mm,
I wouldn't allow him to lead me because we're not married and he's not walking with Christ.
mhm.
Is that not respectful, or is he just not understanding because he doesn't walk with Christ?
So you said
Right.
say that one more time.
So I
Turn it up.
I was told I was not respectful by like my child's father, but I wouldn't let him lead me nor the children because he wasn't walking with Christ.
You would
So
you
I'm not gonna
wouldn't
let you.
oh you wouldn't let him lead.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you said leave you. I was like, okay,
Oh no, lead.
okay,
Lead
lead.
with the
Okay.
D.
Okay.
I'm quick to say leave.
Right, right. Yeah.
But I wouldn't let him lead because he wasn't walking with Christ and when we weren't married. So it's not that I wasn't respectful in my eyes.
Yeah.
That's not that I wasn't respectful, but it was like, what am I respecting? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't take the time to even, really
He didn't
take
put a ring
a
on
marriage
your finger.
serious.
That's disrespectful.
Yes,
He put a baby.
exactly.
He planted a baby, but wasn't willing
Right.
to
Yes.
like to go to
A
extra.
lot of people assume like I can give her a baby, but I don't want to give her a ring. Like that doesn't even
Right.
correlate. You don't want to
Right.
give her a ring, but you want to give her a baby,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
want this woman to bow down to you and do
Mm-hmm.
what? It's not happening.
Right.
So I
Right.
didn't take it as disrespect. And I think often women, especially Black women, are labeled as disrespectful because they're not allowing themselves to be crashed and burned just
Mhm.
to wait for a ring.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't think that's disrespectful at all. I don't think it's disrespectful at all. It is common sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's common sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I can see
I
I can see the boat sinking. I'm gonna get off. I'm not gonna stay on the boat.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over here.
Yeah, no, like if somebody's asking you to, I mean, you respect them as a person because again, they're your neighbor,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you don't
Mhm.
get to say follow the leader because a leading man is
Right.
somebody who makes a leading woman by making her his
Mhm.
wife.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
That's how you
Exactly.
that's how you because he's not even your covering. Girlfriend and boyfriend ain't even really there's no commitment there.
What
So
Right.
when
is
people
that?
get
Right.
upset because people
Exactly.
cheat on them as a girlfriend or boyfriend, why are
Yeah.
you mad? You're not in a commitment.
Yeah.
See, this is the
Right.
world. This is the world's way of
We
thinking.
are dating.
Yeah.
The world says, "Oh, he cheated on me, and I'm leaving him." Were y'all married?
Right.
No. Well, what are you mad at?
Right.
Oh, because you thought that girl. Because listen to the word girl,
Friend.
friend,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
boy, friend. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
love yous don't mean nothing without marriage spiritually.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the Lord bases that on your ability to be combined together according to the law. Because the law makes it a binding covenant.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mhm.
spiritual through engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Because now,
Right.
like, yeah, you're through engagement, it's we're together now. I made that commitment. Now, yeah, cheating is another like cheating is almost the same as adultery right now. As at
Yeah.
engaged because we are
Mhm.
engaged
Right.
spiritually. We
Yeah.
have become one flesh. This is the pre one. This is like
Right.
spiritual first and then natural, right? We've connected.
Yeah.
This is before we don't even have to touch each other to be here.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We can be two people who have never known each other, as the Bible would say, scripture would say, and she had never
Right.
known a man. You know,
Yeah.
we can be there, and then when we're bound lawfully according to the
Mhm.
laws of the land, now that's all been glued together. Now
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason why I said it before, like last week when we came together, like we was sinning,
Yeah.
we was sin, we always felt bad after,
Mm-hmm.
but then when we got
Yeah.
married, it was a totally different feeling.
Yeah.
Why was it different? Well, because I didn't feel no guilt. It was absolutely
Yeah.
No
zero
shame. There
guilt.
was
It
no
was like,
shame. There was
oh
no
my
shame in the
God.
guilt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is not wrong.
Right.
Lord, you are good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the
Mm-hmm.
difference. That's why it's no condemnation. That's why people feel like, and people who get comfortable with being okay with doing that and not being married, you don't have no love for the Lord.
No.
You
Yeah,
don't.
that's what I was gonna say. You would
No.
feel guilty.
You don't.
You
Like
would feel like, not
yeah,
supposed to
like
be
even
here.
if even if you
Mm-hmm.
fail, even if you were weak and it's still a bad decision at the end of the day. It's not an accident.
Right.
Right.
Nobody has sex
Right.
on
On
You still
accident.
accident.
made
No.
the
Right.
choice. Exactly.
Nobody
No.
does that on
Nobody
accident.
fell. Right.
No.
Nobody fell and accidentally
No,
died.
like, oops, I fell. Oops, I did it
Yeah.
again. You
No.
know, so because we know that when it because and we know that it's wrong, that's the reason why we feel condemned because now you need to confess.
Right.
And then you got to come clean. Now he already saw what you did. You still got to ask for it. You say, oh, he forgave me
Right.
already.
Right.
Yeah, no, forgiveness is available.
Mm-hmm.
This is the way you
Right.
say that.
Right.
Forgiveness is available, but you must first confess. Well, he
Yeah.
already know he already died for my sin. No, he didn't die for your future ones. You
Right.
gotta, he died for them in the sense that you're able to be forgiven for if,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but we don't
Yes.
speak on like future ones to say, oh, I'm gonna do it. Y'all
You
know, y'all already know.
right.
We done been down
Yeah.
this road
Right.
1,000 times.
Yeah.
You don't, that ain't no, because you still have to confess. Because if
Right.
that's the case, then that means you don't need to confess if he died for your future sin. He died for
Right.
sin in general. There's no such
Right.
thing as future sin.
Mm-hmm.
It does not exist until you commit.
Right.
So
Yeah.
again, those, girlfriend, back to that, girlfriend, boyfriend don't mean nothing to God.
Yeah.
That means nothing.
Exactly.
Because it's really a what? Take the boy, take the girl off. They're really a what?
Just a friend.
A
Right.
friend
Mm-hmm.
that you are intimate with, that you said you love.
Yeah.
That you're
Yeah.
seeing
So
it.
if
So you're
somebody
really
else comes
putting
into
them
the
before the
picture and
Lord.
you and your friend end up liking them,
Right.
Mm.
Don't that make more sense when you look at it like that? Because like a lot of people
Yeah.
say, "Nah, that's
Yeah.
cheating. That's still cheating." No, it's not. It's not
It's
cheating
not.
because
Yeah.
it's not a binding contract. Who
Mm-hmm.
Right,
said that
right.
boyfriend and girlfriend you could live together for 5 years
Yeah.
and
Of
one of them
course.
die and they don't
Mm-hmm.
get nothing? The mama come in and empty out
Nothing.
the apartment and you gets nothing.
That's true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or
There's
the
a
people that use in the old day, there was, or they say it's just a paper now. They
right.
use not getting married as it's just a paper,
Yeah,
but it's like
exactly. That
to
yeah, they say,
you,
oh, it's just a paper. No, it's not. It's
Mm-mm.
no, it's
that's what
not.
binds it
Mm-mm.
spiritually. Like you see how there was a written law
Right.
and then the law was made spiritual,
Yes.
but everything that was made in the natural, what was written was made spiritual. So so when it comes to marriage, it is the same way. It is spiritual,
Right.
but it becomes honored when you are bound to it.
Yeah.
Right? So that there's a consequence for notice there's a consequence if somebody divorces. Now how do you get out of it? You have to go through the law.
Right.
Right.
And to get out of it, that's even biblical. The law of what? Divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Moses wrote the law. Jesus basically led people back to that law. Why? Because he understood the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
He said Moses wrote the law of divorce because of the hardness of your what?
Of your heart.
Of your heart. So the hardness of your heart. Why does your heart get hard? Well, because I don't know if I can trust him anymore.
Right.
Right. Because you
Worldly
experience things you
thoughts.
should have
Yeah,
never been
whatever it
experiencing.
is, whatever the
Yeah.
case may be.
Even on Sister Wives, there, he was only married to actually one of them, and the
Mhm.
other one is trying now. She's trying to get a lawyer because they have bought this land. They did all these things that she can't get any access to.
Right, right.
But she was so committed and she was so loyal and she gave all this thing and she's over here crying on national television about how poor her, and they
But
were never committed.
look at that though. Look, I want you to see that because remember, I had said that marriage is also a picture of Christ and his church.
Yeah.
It's the reason why scripture refers to him as the bridegroom and the church being his bride.
Yeah.
It's the same picture. So when you go into sin, you cheat on God. You commit adultery.
Yeah.
You fall in love, you fall in love with things of the world, do things that are in the world, loving the world when John specifically told you not to. You're fornicating.
Yeah.
Mm.
Your mind is making love to the ideologies
Yep.
of
That's
this
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, marriage is important. I don't care how many people try to say it's just a piece of paper. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
That's just shows you that how nasty people are.
Right.
Right.
Right, right.
Exactly.
Because
That's
you
true.
basically
I feel like
you
you're
just
so basic
yeah,
thinking
you just
that.
saying you want to get around.
And
You just want to be able to say you just want to be able to
Exactly.
after
right.
when you get done after 3 years of being with somebody, you just want to be able to leave without any strings attached.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not how
And
that
also,
worked. Like you weren't designed to be married to more than one woman.
right. But then also two pastors like now in 2024, where do you see them talk about like marriages, making marriage a big deal? It's a big deal to
It's
be
not.
single, living your life,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
sleeping with this one, being with this one. They're not making it like making marriage like
The
you
women
know
aren't even trying. The
no, yeah,
women
they're not.
aren't even trying anymore
Yeah.
to be wives. Like the
Right,
women
Right.
are like
right,
it's out.
right.
It's funny that we're
Like,
talking about this. I just saw a clip of it was I don't know what podcast it was, but it's like a live podcast. They have an audience
Yeah.
asking
Yeah, I've
questions.
seen those.
So somebody I'm not gonna actually just give
oh,
the question,
and she
but because I
asked
don't want to bite off their podcast, I don't know if that's
yeah.
legal. I
I
don't
think
know.
I seen it, but
No, a
it's
Anyway,
question is a
but
question. They don't have any control over the
yeah.
topic.
oh, okay, okay. Well, the question was asked about
What do
what
you get as a wife?
what qualifications make a woman a wife versus a girlfriend?
Mhm.
Like what's different? What qualifications are you looking for in a wife versus just a girlfriend? And they gave a perspective from a woman's perspective, a
Mhm.
man, and a married woman's.
Mhm.
I think she's married. I don't even know,
Yeah,
but
she's married. The one that responded was married.
she gave well, one of her answers was God's covenant. First of all, it makes you
Yes,
a
I
wife.
loved
And then
it.
it was so funny because the man, which what
That's
you
a,
just
that's a great
said,
answer.
yeah, what you just said, Tiffany, is pretty much what he said. Women nowadays, they're not setting these boundaries. They're giving you what a wife should be giving you as a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So now
Right.
men, they're not really looking for it. They
That
taking
makes
what you
sense.
give them.
That makes sense.
So they just they gonna take you up
That
through that
that
5 years
yeah.
girlfriend,
Yes.
7 years girlfriend, never engaged because you
Then
already,
a baby comes,
yeah,
and then he
baby,
Yeah.
wondering if he really want to be there. He really want to start a family.
right, got a whole
Now
Right,
family.
you're a baby
right.
mama.
He's
He
like,
a baby
I
daddy.
actually don't like you.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And again, what's doing this? I blame some of the music um
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
a lot
definitely.
of it because it's indoctrination. And when people are co-signing Glorilla, Sexy Red, Cardi B,
Hmm.
watch it, Nicki Minaj. Some of these women, some of these that's the spokespersons for this, then got
Right.
married
Yeah,
Yeah.
and was married for a minute. I think Cardi divorced Offset. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that worked,
Yeah. They're divorcing.
but they were still married. But she was still. But I mean, would that be a result of all of the toxicity you've been putting out,
right. I would think so.
Yeah.
and even the
Yep.
stuff that he talks about?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because you can't
Yeah.
talk about it and it not happen to you,
Right. Right.
or you put yourself in a situation, right? So it's 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 just really it's really sad to see, but we also have to have more examples back on television and movies,
Yeah.
but
because a lot of this
Yeah.
again is they're promoting it through entertainment.
yeah, and you know what they've been
Yeah.
doing too. I
The
noticed.
singleness.
I noticed they've been using a lot of what they call influencers,
Hmm.
which crazy enough, Blueface
Yeah,
and
Krishan.
Krishan,
Oh
call them
wow.
influencers. Like, why are
Yeah.
these type of people
Are
labeled
the
as an
Because that's
influencers.
influencer?
exactly what the
Right.
devil
That's
does.
Exactly.
crazy.
Remember, I told y'all
That's
the
what they
devil.
promote and push out.
Yeah, the
Yes,
devil is an
like come on.
influencer, right?
Yeah,
We
Yes.
know we saw
Yes.
like that was such a dysfunctional relationship. I saw pieces of it of Blueface
It was
and
horrible.
Krishan. Like that's so dysfunctional, so
Yeah.
dysfunctional,
And
and
people would even show clips of what she was like before Blueface and like how she spoke about God and how you could actually see the light in her and
yeah,
how it was gone.
yeah. So
How it got removed.
again, be not deceived. For evil communication corrupts good manners. For her
Yes.
hanging with Blueface and being with Blueface and him giving her a baby and then them not turn around and not be together, that's wild to me.
Yeah.
Like, ain't no way in
Right.
the world. Ain't no way in the world. Um. So but I think the only way to get through it though is to really is for people to get in the word. It's for
mm-hmm.
people to get their lives together, right?
Yes.
This is because we understand what Sister Pat said. This was happening a long time ago, but people kept it quiet. There was people in relationships for years. Absolutely, no, I get it. No, I understand that this was happening in the 70s. This was happening because too around in the 70s they were taking systemic um some type of systemic oppression was happening, where men were being taken out the houses because of what they were being influenced to do. And it
Yeah,
still doesn't mean that that's still an excuse, because I think that we I think that we start to make excuses for people when we say, oh, they took the black man out the house. But why?
mm-hmm.
How did they do that? besides locking them up. And if they locked them up, why did they lock them up?
Yeah.
Cause didn't drugs start in the 70s? Like real, like
Yeah.
cocaine,
Yes.
didn't that really start in the 70s? So a lot of people felt like they had to
Selling.
sell it. But there were also, when we look at the other end of the spectrum, there were also some people of color who, y'all know I hate that word black, but yeah, there were also some brothers and sisters who looked like us who were successful in business,
Mm-hmm.
doing what they had to do to get to a certain place to make it, right? But we just take the negative. We just take the outcome, and we say, okay, this is what it was. This is what it is. We got this happening because of XYZ.
Yeah.
But you're not changing your mind though.
That's what
You
I
know
was gonna say, Pastor. When do we stop letting that be an excuse, though? Because it's
Right.
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
it's how long are you gonna let that be the excuse? Like, oh, we weren't taught that, but at 30s and 40s, you can learn that. You could be that. You don't have to keep doing the same things as we
Absolutely.
see. So
Right.
why are we choosing to do the same things? Like, when do you learn to be better and stop shifting blames to what our ancestors experienced?
Exactly.
Right.
See,
Like, it's
and they
crazy.
went through that so we could be. That's a very great point. They went through that so we could be where we are now. We have a lot more. Uh, we have a lot more power. A lot of people, and again, it goes back to, um, it just restricted me. It goes
Really?
back to, yeah, probably because I said cocaine.
Oh yeah.
But
Gotta go on
Oh,
TikTok.
sorry.
no, it's not. No, it's not you. It was
Oh,
me. This is on TikTok. Because
okay. Because
TikTok
I said the same thing.
stupid
I was
like
like
that.
selling.
No, no, no. I said cocaine. It's
TikTok
whatever.
allows domestic violence to be seen all the
They
time. But
allow a
when we
That's
lot
start
of
talking
stuff,
about
but the
truth,
crazy.
moment
they
somebody
block
say
us. I
cocaine or
hate
something,
it.
they.
I hate it.
But yeah, I I just feel like the community of, because I seen like one of the most ignorant people say something real dumb, and it was a little scrappy. I ain't gonna say what he said, but he was talking about voting for somebody just because of the color of their skin. I said that's the dumbest thing in the world.
Mm,
Like that is the dumbest thing in the world. And it even comes down to all
Yes.
of that. Like shows even now. I believe it's all connected.
yeah.
It shows you where people set the limit. They set the limit at their skin color, and they don't
Mm,
never go
Yeah.
beyond that. And that's the reason why so many people are held back. That's the reason why the projects are still going to be the projects.
right.
It ain't got nothing to
Right.
do with the government. We know the
Mm.
government. We know that when you know how that's crazy to me. When you know what the government is, what they have done,
Yeah.
and what they continue to do, but you continue to keep the same mindset about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because as long as they're giving you EBT
Mm-hmm.
and
People gonna keep trying to
vouchers,
get
Yeah.
it. Right.
so keep your mouth closed
Right.
about the government. Don't say what the government doing. Don't say what the systemic. No, I don't say none of that, because
Yes.
you don't want to live above that. You don't want to really trust God and step out on faith and do different things that will lead you out of these different situations. You don't have to be that. So
Right.
again, and I think again, it ties into like um to people being in toxic relationships.
Yeah.
That mentality. Yeah, some people make it out the hood, but they still hood in the mind.
Yeah. That's true.
Now it's just exterior. You're not in the bricks now,
Exactly.
but you still in the bricks in your mind.
You
You
still
Mm-hmm.
still
talking
in
about you can
prison,
take them out the
enslaved.
Yeah.
hood, but you can't take the hood
Right
out
out
me.
the
Like, why you
yeah.
saying that?
See what I'm saying?
Like,
Yeah.
it should be out of you.
Absolutely.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
Because why? Because anything that is like, I don't care what hood it is. It can be suburbs. It could be rich. Whatever mentality it is, low class, middle class, high class,
right.
whatever is not Christ culture is not of God.
It's not right.
I
Exactly.
agree.
It's not of God.
Yeah.
So
Harmony's
that
school, the administration they call meetings for the school.
yeah.
It's mostly a minority school, and they keep telling these kids, um, the system is not for you guys. The system wasn't built for you guys. I literally called the administration, like, what is the reason? I
Yeah.
had a whole conversation with Harmony
Yeah.
on how that
See
doesn't matter, but
again,
why are you
Yeah.
telling kids that? You're
again,
putting
see
in their head it's not built for them, and that's not that's
when
you're
you
supposed to be
do
in
that,
school.
you're it's a scare tactic to get people to
Yeah.
be enslaved to you.
Yeah.
You're when you say, oh, the system ain't for it, that's why I don't say it no more. Because there's loopholes all throughout the system. It's loopholes, it's loopholes all over it. But we don't say, but we don't have access to this knowledge. Yes, you do. You got a library,
Yes,
but
we
they taught you
do.
not to read. You don't like to read.
Exactly.
Because you don't have patience. That's one reason why they gave you a cell phone and gave you little stupid apps like TikTok.
Yeah.
Entertainment.
And why YouTube created shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The shorts feed. Why? So that you could get used to only being entertained and educated in less than 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dummies. That's what they saying. Dummies.
Yeah.
Look at them. We got them. We can control and pull your heartstrings. We can put it in the we can take the music industry and make whatever kind of person we want.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We can put it in the music and tell them that they don't really care about us. We don't really care about them.
Mm-hmm.
Make that a big album. Yeah, let's get people to riot. Let's kill somebody that looks like this.
Right.
Then that way they can work against each other. Now it'll be risen, like they won't ever come together. That's the reason why Jesus never called not one specific person. That's why he said neither the Jew nor the Gentile. Right? It's every salvation is for everybody. For God so loved the what?
The world.
For God just so loved African Americans. For God just so loved the Europeans. For God so loved Caucasians. For God so loved Africans.
That's crazy.
For God so loved Nigeria.
Mormons. Like, no.
Right.
For God so loved the Catholics. For God so loved Pentecostal. It don't say that. It said for God so loved the world.
Yes.
Saying the world means he loved each and every person that has been created. Just because cultures have been created by man, does not mean that humans are not equal.
Right.
And literally, if it doesn't matter the race, everyone, if it's a group of 10 people and we were all each different colors, different nationalities, 8 of those 10 are going to have similar stories.
Right.
Why would that be the case?
Right.
If it was based upon something
and so
else.
we really have to retire the word race when it comes to color, because it's not about race. Bible say the race is not given to the swift, neither to the strong, but to them that endure to the end. When it talks about race, we're talking about humans. So I hope that you wouldn't date outside your race.
Right.
Dating animals.
Because if you date outside your race, you're not dating a human. Duh.
Right.
What, you going on a date with a chimpanzee? And he eating bugs out your hair while y'all sitting on a blanket? You on a picnic blanket?
Right.
All right.
That's crazy.
You gonna go on a date with a cat? What's going on? You know? So
the dogs, the cats, the animals. No.
Right. Oh, he was so cute. You should have saw how he meowed at me, girl. Oh, cuteness overload. No, but that's the reason why I've always and y'all know that that sermon series, and we coming back to it, Erase It in February,
yes,
because it and this probably kind of, I think it's still on topic, because again, we have limited ourselves in so many different ways. You got people like Dr. Umar with this dumb ideology of you can't date outside. You can't date outside your race. First of all, that's dumb, because he is right, but he has the wrong understanding of the word race. We just said that race is outside of outside of the human race. Right? So he said you can't date another species. you gotta only date humans, obviously, duh. But he says that you can't date someone who is light skinned. That's not the love of God.
No.
That's not the love of God. And I don't expect somebody who is pro who claims the label of something that does not describe who we are.
Right.
Um, you know, but people gonna be yelling about black all day. People gonna be yelling about white all day, and
Still.
I will always dismiss myself from the conversation unless they want the truth.
Yeah.
Right? The truth
Right.
is we're human. What is hue? Hue is color. Man is humanity. So we call human because we're all color men. We're all color. We're all colored man. Right? We're all of color. We all have pigmentation. We all have melanin. Some have less than others. We got more. So what? That make you special. You still a human.
Right.
So what? You
Yeah.
still we still need to put on sunblock.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is
So
true.
that's dumb. When we hear, especially when we see it, this election that's coming up, the stuff that's happening with the code switching, that's dumb. That's so dumb to me. Like I've seen it. I've been watching the videos. I've been trying to keep myself up to date with what's been going on, and we talked about it, Tiffany. Like, I've been paying attention, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. How this is such a big deal. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why does it matter? But you make it matter when you lie about one particular thing. You know what I mean? And then you try to clean it up, and it's
Mm-hmm.
too late. Now you flip flop. Now I'm seeing like flip flop,
Right.
and so that's why I'm like, man, you can't trust none of these people. You can't trust
No.
none of these people. You got to trust God. My boundary is that I will not be led astray. I won't be led astray. And again, I just, I hope that everybody that is listening, even the single mothers who don't have a man in the house, you are living the best way you can live, as the Lord being your head. And even if you
Amen.
desire to be married, you still can't be you can't be desperate.
Yeah.
Please don't ever be desperate. When you're desperate, that's how you end up into captivity. I've seen it happen. Folks that
Yeah.
married a slave master.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Exactly, Pastor. Desiring, and then they end up in something that they weren't supposed to be in, just to say they're married or just to say they have a
Because you
man,
want some help.
instead of
In the house.
putting their
Because
focus
you
where it
Yeah.
you
should be.
because you can't save
Or
money,
just
so
to
you want
be in
second
a
income.
two-parent household.
Right. Yes. But you're getting abused every day. Oh Lord.
Right.
Don't
Abused
even get me
mentally, spiritually,
started.
any form of abuse, and then
Yeah.
it gets translated as love.
Oh no, he loved me. He
I
smacked
want to
me on
say
my.
something
Or they
about.
be
And
like, but
I
at least
understand. I
at least
understand.
he home. Like, is he?
At
Is
least
he
he
home?
home.
Yeah. At,
Like,
at
Right.
least he's home, right? Now,
like,
and I
is
and
he
I
home?
understand
Yeah.
how, like,
I
when
want to
people
say
get caught up
something.
into that, some people are so fake to where they have married into it and don't see it until like later into the
Yeah.
marriage, which
Yeah.
I understand that too. But at the same time, Bible don't say you're supposed to stay for that.
Right.
Do what you need to do. Bible
Yeah.
don't
We were also
like it.
brainwashed, or
Yeah,
not
and
brainwashed.
and
We
because
were
it's the
also
church
taught
that'll
that
tell somebody that's getting hit on every night, hey, no, you got to stay with that man.
you
God
gotta
gonna change him.
stay.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, God can change him with me not being here.
Right.
Right.
He can change them for her.
Church folk be so dumb with that. Like
Yes.
but again, these are the same people that put on that makeup
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
and dress
And
up
it
for
goes back to
Sunday and
not knowing the
perform.
word yourself
Mm-hmm.
too. Not knowing the word yourself, not knowing yourself, because
Yeah,
you wouldn't even want to experience it when you truly know who you are through God.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Absolutely.
and and again, it takes that community to be able to rally together and really pull somebody out. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Even if it means they got to lead a state. Even if that means like, hey, I don't live there, but if you ain't got nobody you can come stay with, then we'll take the weekend and come pick you up. You know
Right.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like that's, and then I'll say, oh, that's extreme. Nah, that's love.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
love for my neighbor, for my brother, my sister in Christ. Yeah, even men going through
Mhm.
it physically
That's a
Yeah.
friend.
and won't
Right.
leave. You know what I'm saying? They won't leave because
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
she got my babies. Okay,
Yeah.
get the babies too and leave and run. Run.
Right.
My dad say, run as fast as thy feet can carry thee. So
Right.
I don't promote people staying in abusive relationships. One time is enough for me. uh
That's
it,
good.
it, if
Yeah.
my wife ever put her hands on me, I'm leaving. Cause I don't deserve this. I'm out. But she ain't never done that. She don't do
Yeah.
nothing. She don't do nothing. So, we going on. How long it's been?
12.
No, we
12
already did
years.
12.
We already did
Stop
12.
doing that. You can't do that
No,
again.
this year was 12. June was 12. Started 12.
No.
Right? Look at me.
From 2012.
It's
A
been too
long
long.
time.
From 2012 to 2014. What is that? That's 12. This was 12.
This was, yeah.
Man, it feel longer than that. I want to say 15 and just be like,
I
yeah, it's been 15.
It's been about
15. It's been
15.
about
12 is
15.
a long time.
You're not 12 is 12 is a long time.
People don't
But
make it past one.
But yeah, I done took over y'all. I done took over y'all talk. Y'all
Okay,
ain't
I
tell
just want to
me.
say something about single mothers or even mothers who have husbands that are not too involved
Yeah.
with raising children or making sure, especially if you have boys, because really I feel like if you're raising boys as a single mother, you need strong men in their life because you're not a man. You don't know how to raise
Yeah.
a boy to a man, right?
Right.
So I do suggest that get into like a small group or find a local church in your area that does a lot of things for kids, and they could be a part of like activities within the church, right?
Right.
Uncle, uncle you trust or a friend you
Right.
I was
trust.
gonna say, don't.
Yeah.
It's not just the uncles, because
Trust.
the uncle in the street does not mean he should be talking
Trust.
to your
No,
son and taking
no,
him out.
that's what I'm saying. Someone that you can trust that would be a good role model for your child, right?
Yeah.
I feel like back in the day, that's what they used to do, right? When I was growing up and my mother was at work, we lived on a block where literally the next door neighbor, when we got home from school, there would be like food waiting for us. They would be, okay, are you guys good? Like you had other people help raising children. Now it's not like that.
Right.
Not like,
Yeah. Now
Right.
people are like, don't talk to my baby.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like, you're not asking. I mean, I'm so happy that I have a strong community of people because honestly, I'm one of those parents who are like, that's stranger danger. Don't go to this person. Don't go to that person. Like, if
Stranger
my
danger.
kids are cutting up or doing something, I know I can say, okay, you know what? All right, I'm gonna call pastor and I'm gonna tell pastor that you guys are not listening or whatever it is, right? Because I trust him, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To know that he's gonna take care of it.
Yeah.
So I do recommend, please get into something with your children that you can trust people to help you raise, especially your boys, because when they get older, you can't do it by yourself. You can't.
Right.
You really, really can't, because as women, we cannot raise boys. We cannot. I don't care how strong you may think you are. You can't. When puberty kicks in,
It's two different experiences.
Yeah.
Honestly. So there's nothing a woman can do that could ever say she fully understands what a man goes through, even by
Right.
stepping outside. There's
Yeah.
no
Right.
way. There's no way vice versa for men to say, oh, this is what a woman should do, because it's two different experiences.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
more I'm like, with Jordan telling me things that he's experienced, I'm like, I've never experienced that. But it's
Yeah.
like, I am a female. I would
Yeah.
never experience
Right.
that.
Right.
You
Yeah.
have to have the proper guidance. Like, at first I used to be like, oh, that's cool that he would reach out to my friend's husband, but they don't live a life I would like. So I was like, block.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's what I was saying, earlier, coming back to that, is that nourishing those relationships. That's why it went back to one of those questions, and I lumped it into one of those questions about friends.
Yeah.
Right? What are they for, or
Opposite
who are
sex.
they?
Right.
Why? What's the purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Do you you might be a coach, like if you're a coach, like, again, what is your, are you trying to be like a father figure to my son so you can get to me as a woman? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what is
Yes.
what is the purpose?
Yeah.
Because in some cases
Right.
you can't allow that relationship to
Right.
flourish between them and
No.
your son, because
Mhm.
you never know. It's like, okay, you never know if
Right.
they're like, they'll say, okay, I'll fix her since she don't want to talk to me. I'm a
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this, and we just don't know what that is. So it's
Yeah.
always good to have
And you also got
men
to
in
be
their
involved.
life
Also, you
that
can't just be dropping your kids off to people and being like, "Oh, well, you a man, and I know you got it." No, you got to also be involved with
Know
these
who that
adults.
man is. Yeah.
Right.
So it's like,
absolutely.
that you're trying to help raise your children. You can't just be like, "All
Yeah.
right, you going for the weekend." First of all, my sons are not spending night at nobody's house for the weekend. That's
Right.
not happening. Like, no, that's not happening. Right?
I
You
tell
you
Jordan
have
all
to
the
be smart
time,
about
boys
it.
get kidnapped too.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
Hello.
They
exactly.
do.
I
Yep.
tell Jordan all the time, I'm like, no, that's not consensual. No, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
them Amber Alerts be little boys too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Because
know.
they try to
Yeah.
make it seem like, for boys, like, oh, that's okay. That's different. No, it's not. If an older woman is doing something, that's also
That's wrong.
That's
That's
inappropriate.
not
Yeah.
wrong.
right.
Exactly.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Inappropriate. You gotta talk to your children about what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. Like even like with
Yes.
these after school programs and people
Yep.
thinking, okay, well my child's gonna go. I need to know what's this is why you have to also talk to your children. You
Yeah.
want to know what's the conversation. You have to know
Yeah.
like what's going on. Like they have at Brennan's like after school, and so they do last year they had boys to men leadership and all that, and now this year they have anime. I was like, no, that's not happening. Cosmetology. I'm like, oh my god, look at the narrative they're trying to put through these children. I'm like,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
cosmetology. I'm like, oh, they teaching how to be a barber, right? I called the woman and she's like, no, my kid. I said, no, we'll pass.
Yeah,
So it's
no,
like you have to
cosmetology
be
has
involved.
everything to do with doing hair.
Yeah.
Hair.
I know. So I was like, oh, they're gonna have a barber in there? Because
Yeah.
that's my boy. I'm like, they're gonna have a barber. And she's like, oh no, I'm like, okay, we'll pass. We're not doing that because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't need him gold setting nobody's hair.
But
Right. Don't be
as a
like, oh, they got an after school program. Here you go. Like, no, what's going on in the after school
Right.
Right.
program?
Yeah.
they got in another I think it's in Arkansas or I can't remember where it was, but they have a group, a satanic group at a school. It's
That is
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
it's I can't
What?
remember
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
what state it's in, but it's an after school
Yeah.
like everything else, but
Wow, that's
it's literally
crazy.
like a
Yeah. Where they
satanic.
teaching it after school. Yeah.
Yeah, they're teaching
Yeah.
like I think it's Church of Satan. It's the Church of
But
Satan or
we
something
can't
like
talk
that.
about the Bible.
That is
Right.
Yeah,
That's
crazy.
but you can't talk about the
crazy.
Bible.
Yeah.
Take prayer out the schools.
You can't talk about the Bible.
Yeah, but Satanism ain't that bad.
I-
Right.
Right. Right.
Please, y'all. I
Right.
like anybody watching. I'm being
Been said.
facetious like that. I'm being
Right.
sarcastic.
Right.
Like
Please
like
know that.
Satanism is like it's no big deal. Just make it an after school program. No big
Right.
deal.
Parents won't mind.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like now, just to summarize or try to summarize it all, um, us as parents need to be more involved with the schooling for one,
Yeah.
because they're putting in
Yeah.
rules, wanting the parents to be involved. But of course, we so busy in our daily lives, in our home life, our church life, that we're not going to the school meetings, and that's where they put
Mhm.
those policies in place. So we need to
Yeah.
be
Right.
more
Right.
involved there.
Yes.
Yeah, and
And
listen, if you can't get into school, just get on Zoom. They have where they do plenty of like Zoom calls.
Yes.
yes,
A lot of the parents that work, Monday through
We have
Friday from 8 to 5.
right.
So you know what it is. I feel
hmm
like, especially when our children get to a certain age, we don't get as involved because we figure they are older, right? And they'll come and tell you things. But a lot of these
that's
kids
true.
don't come home and tell you anything that's going
Mhm.
on at school because they
Right.
wrap school life, they
hmm
wrap up with their little associates at school. And so for me, what I do is I'm like, I have all the teachers' numbers and emails. I'm one of the parents who are like, you can text me and call me personally. I'm never too
Right.
available.
I always say that the office note, I'm there. I'm pulling
Yeah.
up. Like for Jordan, for Harmony, I'm there. I'm present. They have the parent apps, like we have Parent Square or Class
Oh, same,
Dojo.
same
Download
thing.
They
them,
got a million
communicate,
I
apps.
ask
try
them
to
Oh my
questions.
goodness.
I'm trying to do better about it. I mean, I do show up when I need to show up, go up to the school when I need to go up to the
Yeah.
school. More so now, the girls are homeschooled, so
Yeah.
I feel a
Yeah.
lot better about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But being homeschooled too means that you got to buy way more groceries. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Yes.
part.
And they don't
but
help during the year.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so it's like I feel I have respect for every cafeteria lunch lady. Just I want to shout out to
Oh my
every
goodness.
cafeteria lunch lady.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
love you so much. I appreciate what you do. The way that you slap that, that mac and cheese, the way you cut the square pizzas, the breakfast ones and the lunch ones. I appreciate you. Because there's nobody like the school cafeteria lunch lady.
Nobody.
Right. I
Yeah.
don't think the kids get to experience lunch how we did. We had good lunch.
We
Now
had
they
that
probably
box
get
milk. I
Yeah.
used to get the strawberry
yeah,
milk.
we had options. I
I
don't think
miss
they
the
get
strawberry
options
milk.
like
I missed that little
It
sausage
depends on
pizza
the school.
thing.
It depends on the
Breakfast.
school. If you go to like charter school, they have like a really good list.
yeah.
Like they roll out.
Yeah, Harmony's charter school, but
Yeah.
her cafeteria, her lunch lady is like a personal chef. So she be hooking
Yeah.
it up sometimes and I'll be like, I want
Okay.
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of it was weird. A lot of the lunch ladies that I've seen growing up, you find out that they were actually pretty well. Like they were, I don't know if they did that was their side job. If being a lunch
Right.
lady was
Probably.
their side
Probably.
job, but I seen a lot of lunch ladies that with that being their side job, not their only job. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I agree. I agree. A man's presence is definitely important.
Yeah.
And the single women have to be able to, um, you have to be
I
able
feel
to
my son
lock in
craved it.
and be willing
Craved it.
to,
So like he would attach to like, a man, like, okay, you seem present. So
yeah,
he would attach
Mm.
to that. And
Mm-hmm.
but I just want him to go towards the right man.
right,
Like, oh,
right,
look at
right.
this. I'm sending options of
Tell
this way.
listen, tell them, tell you listen, give him my number, because he can also talk to Jamor too. Sometimes you just need to talk to Pierre
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Yes.
Jamor, he's very very smart. This is the reason why he
Be on them.
he irks me sometimes because he's so smart, but he doesn't choose to show it sometimes. But he still knows how to communicate with other people,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and and when he is in contact with others, he's able to even give the advice that he probably don't take himself all the time. But but I'm saying like it's good to have like that, create a peer space, not the app, but to create
Right.
a peer space
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
where okay, you got more people you could talk to on the phone. Like even if they talked about games, that's cool. But eventually something about life is gonna pop up.
It's gonna
Yeah.
pop up.
And
Yeah.
I've
Very
been
social.
teaching my son since a boy, like well, he's still a man
A
boy.
little boy.
He's a man child. So he knows he has some values. I know, like he know how to spit some encouragement to somebody. Um, you
Yeah.
Yeah.
know,
Pastor,
I know he could.
maybe
I know he
let me
could.
tell you
So
this.
if he's talking to Jordan, he'd be able to, share some stuff with Jordan. But where did it come from? A father.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then
Exactly.
also having that access too. So let that be known publicly. Jordan got access to us. So
Yes.
yeah,
I love that. I'm gonna give him your number.
yeah.
Yeah.
Amen. Well, I thankfully, what is that?
I
I
don't know.
am
You
thankful.
definitely made up a word.
What in the world? So, Pastor, thank you. I just want to say it was definitely a blessing to have you on and to give that feedback. I feel like
Yes, it was good.
I feel like
maybe
I did it again. I feel like I talked too long.
No, this
it
was
was
good,
it was
Pastor.
It
good.
was
It
good.
was information that was
We
needed.
hit
Somebody
topics.
needed it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say needed.
Yeah. So, with that being said, as we wrap up, we hope that you found this talk insightful, um, and encouraging. If not, but definitely don't forget to press that like button before you leave. Those that are watching, and share it with your family and friends if you have any. You might not have any friends, but post it on
Right.
social media. Okay. Share it on social media. But thank you for showing up and being here. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on all platforms. That's YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can find us by searching at Creation Church Dallas. And stay tuned for more updates. I'm just going to close out with a short prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you today. We are so grateful for the time that we spent in your presence today. Thank you for the wisdom shared and for the guidance that you only can provide. Lord, we ask that you bless Pastor Will for his heart and leadership and continue to strengthen him as he serves your people. Lord, Lord, may the words spoken today bring lasting fruit in our lives, guiding us to honor you in all our ways in our life and relationships in our homes. Lord, be with every listener and let your peace and grace cover us all. In Jesus' name,
Jesus'
amen.
name. Amen.
Have a blessed
Amen.
day
Amen.
and see you
Amen.
next week. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
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 Sir.